Happy Turkey Day, everyone. Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
Gobble Gobble, a Hidden City Book Company Productions. Gobble.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
So this is literally tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So I celebrate the things I'm grateful for and with my family, not so much what the holiday was made for.
Same.
And I hope you do too. Eat some food for us. Eat a lot of food for us. Go buy something from small independent stores, mom and pop shops on Friday, instead of the big giant stores who really don't need your money because they're going to lay off people anyway.
Exactly.
And that's how we start the holiday season, Sam.
Mm-hmm. As well we should. To hell with capitalism.
Speaking of the holidays, we're going... Exactly. We had hoped to not have to take a break during the holidays of content because Sam and I will actually be taking a break of making content because we want to enjoy our holidays. It's not exactly going to work that way. We are going to have to pause Lost.
I know.
So, going forward, every Monday, we're still going to have Arcane all the way through the end of the year.
Yep.
So we're just running through. So don't worry, you won't be without Lost Legacies. Lost, however, next Wednesday we're talking about episode 6 of season 6, and then after that we're going on a little break from Lost because the following Wednesdays after that for the rest of the year we're going to be doing holiday episodes. So don't worry, you're still getting 2 Lost Legacies episodes a week till the end of the year, till 2025. And then once we get to January, we're going to probably jump back to just 1 episode every Monday. We're going to finish off Lost. So we just want to let y'all know there will be a couple weeks off from Lost, but we're still going to be pumping stuff out. And and we'll give you more details on the holiday schedule and what to expect when we talk about Lost next week. But as for today... We're back into it. Actually, I do want to say something. I did have a little. Basically, we've been talking about. We don't know what to talk about, before Lost because the scheduling has been all off. Well, I got to do something exciting yesterday. Ooh. I took an online seminar for voice acting with none other than Sam Riegel.
What?
Of course, from Critical Role, and he voice acts in everything, and he also he's a voice director for a lot of shows. And man, it was like an hour and a half, so it wasn't too bad, and it was really rad, and there's a lot of people in Zoom. I mean, the downside about that is you couldn't really talk with him. It was just leaving questions in chat.
Right.
But it was just a really cool talking conversation, and I'm used to Sam Riegel from the D&D world. So he's always talking about storytelling and characters from that angle. So to actually hear him talk about voice acting in the business and also his history, how he got into it, I'm like, man, it was really cool and, inspiring and rad, I don't know. It's kind of, I'm not one who's ever pursued a voice acting career. I would like to do voice acting for sure. But it was just really cool. I took the class more so for him than the actual voice acting subject matter itself. That's, like I said, never really been a goal for me, but that would be cool to do. And of course I was studying a lot of that before we started the Adventures of Cinnamon and Oatmeal. Listeners, if you don't know, that's our D&D actual play podcast, which is on hiatus, but there will be more. But yeah, I don't know. It was cool. There's just so much, there's so much Sam Riegel out there, because there's thousands of hours of Critical Role of him playing these characters. But then there's all the other, conversations they have and all this stuff. it really feels like watching those interviews was kind of like taking a class. It's like you get what you see, you know. He's not putting
Right.
up a front like this is the guy, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it was really cool, and you could tell he was having fun with it as well, you know. Just the little things he was talking about, and yeah, you know, it was rad. You know, there's he was giving tips and tricks, which unfortunately I will not give here. I might talk to Sam with later. Not that, you know, you want to gatekeep a lot of that stuff, but it's like we did have to pay money for this class, you
Sure,
know.
sure.
And
Yeah.
he even kind of sold it as he's like, yeah, he'll talk about voice acting and give you tips and tricks, but he'll also reveal the secret behind animation. And
Oh no.
yeah, it was really rad. It was a really cool experience. And yeah, I don't actually know. I don't have the company info with me right now, but it's like a voice acting kind of coaching company that set the whole thing up, and now
Mm,
I'm interested in them because I'm not sure who like the host was, but she's a voice actor as well, and you know she was great, and she's a coach, and I'm like I would be down for you know taking
coaching.
a class with her.
Hmm.
And of course, a lot of it was also about networking and how she's good friends with Sam Riegel, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, if Christina sends someone my way, I'm definitely going to take the time to look at the tapes and all that stuff." And I'm like,
Mm,
"Wow,
that's
so that's
good.
cool." Yeah, and he really he went into kind of what he looks for when he's casting and things like that, and that's something not a lot of people talk about because most of them are on the voice acting side, you know, not the
Right.
casting. So
Right.
yeah, it was cool. It was exciting. So I'm kind of riding that high right now, and yeah, yeah.
I like it.
Now let's talk about Lost, I guess.
Oh, okay.
There
Sure.
goes the high. Uh, no,
All
not really.
downhill from here.
No, I actually really like this episode.
Yeah.
We're talking about Lost season 6, episode 5, Lighthouse, where Jack and Hurley undergo a secret mission. Quite literally.
Hmm.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, I like this episode. I really
Yeah,
did.
I did too.
I don't think it was you know as good as like John Locke's episode last week. Uh,
Hmm.
but and the reason I bring that up is because that last week's episode was just so like emotionally driven. This one not so much so, and in a lot of ways it was very slow, a
Hmm.
very slow episode. Whereas last week's it even felt a little more adventure because you had like Evil Locke and Sawyer, you know, prancing across the island and
Yeah.
you know, and this one you had Hurley and Jack doing the same thing, but it was a much slower take on it, and I
Hmm.
liked that. I like how they stop, and there were so many like character beats, character moments, you know.
Hmm.
And like when Hurley mentions, "Oh, this reminds me of the good old days," you know, or you know, walking through the jungle and we don't know why. And
Hmm.
then they go back to the caves, and Jack
Yeah.
tells the story about his dad's coffin, and I was like, "Wow, okay." You know, even and these are all separate scenes. And then later, they're back going through the jungle, and Hurley asks Jack like why he came back, and he's like, "Because I was broken, and I thought this place can fix me."
Mm.
You know, and Hurley's like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry." So it was a really like just maybe I take back what I said. This was a very emotional episode. It was just done in a different way.
Yeah.
It was much more subtle, and I think that fits for Jack Shepard because he's not someone who really wants to talk about himself or
Hmm.
admit his feelings. So the fact that he finally is, and I'm glad it's to Hurley of all people. You know, Hurley is like the one guy you could I don't know if you can trust him. He's also the guy who's going to accidentally slip and reveal the information, you know, to someone. But you know,
True.
he is like out of everyone on the show and on that island, like he's your best friend. You know, you know he has the best intentions for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really like that, and I like that, and I thought it was a very mature episode for Jack. Even when he kind of flips out at the end, it's like, okay, I feel like it's been leading to this.
Hmm.
Uh, but I kind of like what Jacob says at the end. Like, you can't just tell. Some people you can tell what to do. Others they have to figure it out for themselves. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's definitely Jack. So it all kind of fit
Yeah.
together, and so I really dug it. However, I am starting to understand, I think, why a lot of people don't like this season.
Hmm. Okay.
And our complaints have been pretty much the same complaints we've had through the whole show.
Hmm.
Of there's no communication, like the story and the pacing is just really weird because they don't want to reveal information to us, so it just feels a lot of back and forth. That's been our complaints.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people coming to this season, I think their complaint is more like it feels like a retread. Not so much in the way we were talking about, but
Hmm.
more in the way like, oh, these are the stories we were telling back in season one.
Mm. Okay.
Even if it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
different or it's tech, like quote unquote continued, it's that
Hmm.
kind of retread. But then also just look at Jack's entire Flash sideways this episode. Very low stakes, not that complicated. It feels like I joked about it in like episode one. This is us.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
season is Lost meets This Is Us. It's just people living life, going through normal life stuff,
Yeah.
and I think people are kind of put off by that. Like that, this isn't the show I'm watching. You
Hmm.
know, where's my adventure? Where's my mystery? And so I think it's really clashing, and that's something personally I love. I
Hmm.
love the Locke stuff. I love even the Kate stuff. I think pretty much so far we've agreed that the strength of this season is the Flash sideways,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and so we dig it. But I think I'm starting to see why people don't.
Hmm.
People are wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, like to your point, like there was this I was pretty much on board with everything this whole episode
Yeah.
about right up until the end.
Okay.
And pretty much it was the whole Jacob finally showing up and telling Hurley, like
Yeah.
Jack's got to figure this out on his own. And it's like, yeah, of course he does.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing here? We needed a whole episode for that? Like like
Yeah.
like yeah, like it is exactly the thing that you said. It's like it does feel like we're retreading old ground.
Hmm.
Um Kind of just arriving to the same conclusions. Like
Right.
yeah, I don't know, like it was such a and it's such like a weird thing to have like at the end of this episode in particular where it's like okay, both of these characters are going on this journey. They're finding out, more, maybe less so more about Hurley, but we're finding out more about Jack. Why'd he come back? All this stuff. Like, yeah, it feels like the good old days. And it's like, it's feeling like a culmination to something. It feels like it's going to lead to something, but the something is the conclusion that we've always known.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It, it, for me, it was a little bit of a letdown. I was like,
Very
okay.
anticlimactic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I guess you can make the argument that like that has never been the show, to give you,
Yeah.
this huge like reveal or catharsis or something, but like yeah, I don't know, like I was just like oh like I I'm having conflicting feelings about the direction of the story, at least one of the main stories going on, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, hey man, you gotta tell us something. Again, we're 5 episodes into the final season
Yeah.
and we're still doing this bait and switch.
Yeah.
What is that? What is destiny? Is it destiny? I don't know. Like it's totally not, but it actually really is. And it's like that, like, stop it. It's
I'm
like that's bothersome.
it's like I'm sorry, but my feelings towards the portrayal and the acting from the guy who plays Jacob is my same feelings for the way Jacob's is being written.
Yeah.
Like someone at some point thought, "Oh, this is going to be cool."
Hmm.
And it's not.
Hmm.
Like it's just again, like you said, it's the same thing over and over again.
You know what Kat said?
Huh.
Because she's been like intermittently watching because she definitely did like lose interest probably somewhere in season 4.
Sam, it's
Uh
more like lost cat.
oh, very true.
You
Very
know,
true.
it's
Lost
not on
did lose
her.
cat.
Yeah.
That's very true. Um but yeah, so she watched this episode and when it got to the to that Jacob bit at the end, she was like, "So is Jacob like God? And
Mhm.
evil Locke is like the devil, maybe?"
Yeah.
And the me, I was just like, no, that's way too. There's no way they would actually write it like that.
Right. It's very like almost that's almost too literal, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like it's almost too literal, and I like it's they would lose viewership instantly if they just like instantly said, "Oh yeah, by the way,
That's the
Jacob is
twist.
God." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole Battlestar thing too, you know, like
Yeah.
that is a show that had like where the religious
That's
themes
maybe
are, you
slight
know.
spoiler alerts for Battlestar. I don't know how deep we're getting into it.
Oh, I was just gonna say like it is much more of like a pillar of that show, like faith and
Oh,
like talking about God and faith
yeah.
and using that as the point of destiny,
Yeah.
where that hasn't necessarily been lost. It's
That's
more
true.
just about like accepting fate, accepting your destiny, and like
Yeah.
having faith in the path.
And it's the science versus faith,
Yeah,
struggle ever since
yeah,
season 1.
exactly. But when we get stuff like Jacob.
Yeah.
Well, like pretty much since Jacob has been included in the show, it straight up feels like no, this is just God. Like
Kind
like
of.
this is just a God and devil allegory now, and I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, yeah. And which is ironic because this actor went on to play Lucifer in Supernatural.
Yeah.
So, um, and honestly, I felt the same way. It's this kind of mentality of like we're gonna have this character who's super important and plays a big role and maybe isn't God, but there is something divine about Jacob.
Hmm.
But we're clever, Sam. So how are we gonna portray him? He's just a chill dude.
Right.
Want a candy bar? You know, like
I guess all I needed was a push.
yeah, it's just oh man, it just seems like someone thought this was a cool idea. It's the Steve Buscemi meme with the skateboard, you know?
How do, fellow kids?
Yeah, it's just like it feels like it's an act. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's like maybe he is God or this angel, but he's trying to be cool.
Hmm.
That's what
Hmm.
Jacob is, which is so crazy because we only got I'm still calling him Evil Lock. We only got the other one for that one scene at the beginning of the season. Bosch, Titus
Yeah.
Welliver. We only got him from that one season, and like he wasn't that at all.
Hmm.
And he was menacing. I'm like, oh, interesting, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm thinking, well, maybe this is a 2000s. This was mid 2000s. Um, I don't know. Maybe this was influenced by Tony Stark. He's not that cool, but Jacob's trying to be cool. It's kind of
Hmm.
like that mentality of like after Guardians of the Galaxy came out, you know, that really kind of changed everything for better or worse.
Hmm.
Everyone's got to be cool, chill, have one-liners. And I don't know. I just feel like they're trying too hard to make Jacob just a dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's why we don't get. Well, that's not why I was going to say. That's why we don't get Lance Reddick as Jacob. But he should have been like,
Yeah.
what if Abaddon came back and you're like, oh, he's actually Jacob. It was him the whole time.
Yeah,
He didn't actually get shot. Like,
yeah. It like it's so vaguely written that you're just like I in the hands of a talented, you know, actor, maybe they could do something. But even
uh-huh.
then it's like there's not a whole lot to work with, you know? So even I think the most talented actor would, you know, struggle a little bit, you know?
True. I just thought of this right now because I started my Christmas movie watch already. I watched The Christmas Candle with my mom,
Oh
which
yeah.
is like I guess yeah, it's like a faith-based movie, but
Mhm.
James Cosmo, who plays Mormont,
Oh, the
the
senior moment.
senior, what's I forgot what his name. Senior Mormont. He's
Mhm.
in it. And I'm like, dude, what if this guy played Jacob? You
Whoa.
know, just like this just his voice alone. He doesn't even have to try. His voice alone.
Oh man, I'm trying to. How does it? Tali. Yeah. So, so it's
Golly.
like sometimes, Hurley, you can tell people to get on a bus, and other times you need to let them look at the ocean. There you go.
Yep, yep.
For the
I
watch,
watch. I like it.
for
I
the
like it.
night is dark and full of terrors. Merry Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry. This is British. Happy Christmas.
So yeah, wasn't he the one who played Santa in Narnia?
Yeah. Lion the
Father
Witch and the
Christmas.
Wardrobe.
I'm
Father
sorry.
Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, so what year was Sons of Anarchy? Um,
2013.
was it
No, I don't know. I was really hoping I
2008?
was right. What?
2008 to
Oh, okay.
9 to 10. Interesting because Titus Welliver was in Sons of Anarchy season 3,
Hmm.
which would have been around the time that Lost was ending in 2010.
Hmm.
So I don't
Okay.
know if it was before this or after. Maybe that's why he's not in this show more because he was on
Mm,
Sons.
maybe.
But
It's also kind of like the way they're writing the character. Like, you know,
yeah,
he's
they wanted
like you want
Terry
to keep
O'Quinn.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah, but in Sons of Anarchy, he's brothers with Chibs, played by Tommy Flanagan.
Oh,
Think of
wow.
Tommy Flanagan as Jacob.
I'm not even gonna try.
I don't even know how you would do his accent.
Speaking of Tommy Flanagan, over the weekend, showed Cat Gladiator for the first time.
Mm, I
Yeah.
forgot he's in that. Yeah.
Yeah. He plays Russell Crowe's attendant,
Dude, he's been in a
Cicero.
lot. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh, he was in oh, excuse me. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
oh yeah, he's one of the
Yeah,
what are they called?
the Ravagers.
Ravagers.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, he's in it for a hot second. Yeah.
But he's like one of the loyal ones, right? He gets spaced.
They end up spacing him. This is mutiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tommy Flanagan is Jacob. I don't know. I just yeah. Uh, let's talk about Sideways Jack. I liked it,
Honestly, best part of the episode.
dude. Yeah,
Like
Jack's a
just
dad.
Jack's a dad.
And I liked it. Because it's believable. It's in line with the Jack that we know of,
Hmm.
that we know, and the Jack that he used to be. But also at the same time, like it's a natural progression. Like, yeah, that is how Jack would approach this situation. You know. Now
Hmm.
again, some things are changed, just like last week's. In his house, we saw pictures of Jack, his mom, and his dad. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
so the relationship with the dad was probably a lot better, you know? And then at some point,
Better-ish.
well,
I'm
there's no, like, Jack was a wreck in season 1 because of this. And like this, we don't really see, like, we see him struggled in episode, what, 2? Because they
mhm.
can't find the body. But like, Jack's got it together when he's talking to his mom and they're trying to find the will, you know? And I'm like, huh.
Okay, that is true. Yeah.
Also, the fact that she offers him a drink and he says no nonchalantly. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
good for you. It wasn't a big thing. I'm like, okay, I don't think him or Christian Shepherd are alcoholics in this world
Mm.
because that would have been a much more powerful moment if they were.
Yeah.
So, and then we do kind of get a hint because he calls his son in Australia and he's like, something's happened. I just need to hear your voice. So I think Christian didn't drink himself to death. Just something happened,
Mm.
accident or illness or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. The more and more we're stepping into this side world, we're realizing these are kind of like Hurley. These are different versions of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Claire kind of seemed the same as far as we know of, and also Kate. But like Hurley,
Yeah.
Jack, and Locke are noticeably different people in noticeably different scenarios in this alternate world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So, and the kid, I forget, I don't know who the actor is. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He was in one of the
Yeah.
Scream movies, right?
Yeah. He was in
Scream.
yeah, which is technically Scream 5.
Yeah. Because in Scream 5, no one can hear you. Scream 5.
No one can hear you. His name is Dylan Minette. Minette.
Minette? Dylan
M
Minette.
Minnette.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I thought he did great. He's that
Mhm.
annoying teenager who you really don't like, but then that last scene with him and Jack, he really sells it. Like, oh, also the scene with Jack and his mom, like it kind of explains it,
Mhm.
And he was like, I was always afraid of Dad, and she's like, well, maybe I don't know, remember his name. Maybe Dylan Minette is as well.
David.
David. He's like, well, I don't know why he would, but he kind of thinks about it.
Mhm.
And then that scene where he's like, I didn't want to let you down. And like, oh, it hits
Mhm.
Jack, And it's like, because, yeah, man, that is something that's the same from our Jack, you know?
Mhm.
His dad, Christian Shepherd, would tell him that, you're not good enough. So yeah, kind of like what you were shaking your head earlier when I said maybe the relationship was better. We don't know. There still was tension there.
Mhm.
But yeah, Jack made it clear like he that's not the type of dad he wants to be,
Mhm.
and he's always gonna love his kid. And I'm like, yes, yes, on its own, it's kind of a cheesy just episode story. But in the context of Lost and these characters that we've known for X amount of years, it
Yeah.
really, really hits home,
Yeah.
You're like, we have a great relationship with our dad. We've never been, in like the situation of Jack or David, but just knowing Jack for so long, like I was there, man. I was tearing up a little. I was tearing up not so much by what they were saying, but more so of Matthew Fox's performance. I was
Mhm.
like, we don't see this Jack, and it's such a progression and a maturity that could only be like this is the final season,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
kind of hammers home the point, man. Like, uh, you know, again, a lot of people they have their feelings over the Lost finale and quote unquote the big twist and all that stuff. And I'm like, honestly, kind of like I said before, and what you said just a couple minutes ago, like this is my favorite part of the episode. And I thinking like this sideways timeline is my some of my favorite Lost moments, especially this season.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
yeah, man, kudos. Kudos to the writers on this one. I didn't even look it up or anything, but uh
The writers were Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof.
I think they finally are starting to figure it out.
Holy crap. I should hope so.
uh,
Season 6, baby. Finally got it right.
yeah.
Wow.
Uh, we
Man.
jest, we jest. We love this show. I really do.
Yes. Yes.
But that's also why I feel like we could take the piss out of it because like I love it so much. The things that piss me off really piss me off about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like it was those little things that really added up to something bigger, you know. And I'm like, wow,
Hmm.
cool. And also, it's just damn good to see Jack, who's not being tormented by the ghost of his father or Kate. You know,
The two evil forces on the island.
Kate was in this episode for 2 minutes, and I didn't like it. I was like, get out,
Almost derailed the whole
you
plan, the whole
charlatan.
plot. It's like, gosh.
Uh,
Ugh.
but speaking of derailing to a whole other plot, let's talk about evil Claire.
Poor Jin, man.
Dude, he can't catch a break.
He can't get a
Oh,
break. This sucks.
yeah, man, he's in it.
Like he's in it, you know. Even like God, he even just straight up lies to Claire like right at the end, and I'm just like,
He's afraid, man. He's gonna get killed.
yeah, no, I know. Hey, but shout out to Evil Claire for doing like the fastest suture in history.
Dude, I know.
Like, yeah, wow, incredible.
Yeah, she's
You
better than
know,
Jack.
she's better than Jack. Yeah, she should be a surgeon when they get off the island.
Yeah, Emily DeRaven, man, she did good. This is hard. This is a hard role in this episode for Claire because
Hmm.
you don't want to be too cheesy about it. Like, especially at the beginning, you're like, okay, this is just Claire who's kind of been in the wild for 3 years,
Hmm.
but then she like progressively gets like more and more nutty,
Hmm.
and like I just again like playing or writing a crazy character. I think the writing was really well. Like they just gave us enough to believe that Claire was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and then the fact that she kills that guy, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Hmm.
But Emily DeRaven, like she really had to find that balance. And it was good, man. And Daniel Day Kim, he did good being in that impossible situation. And I just saw him. What was it? It's on PBS somewhere. It was like a giant like tribute show to Rogers and Hammerstein, and like he was
Oh,
dancing on stage.
whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually premiered yet or what, but like I saw his little number. I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know he
Cool.
was a dancer.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm like, and dude, Daniel Day Kim looks great. Like he has not aged since Lost. He looks the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
So, but then of course Claire's crazy. She has a friend, and of course it's not Locke. It's
Mm-mm.
evil Locke.
Mm-hmm. Smokey Joe. I just want Jin to be happy
I
with his
know.
wife. This sucks
Yeah,
that they've separated them for so long. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
I am not a happy camper about this.
And we've got very little sun this season.
Mm-hmm. And last season
And
too.
last
Like,
season,
what did she do?
what she was in was really good, but it was still very little.
Yeah.
Which sucks because Sun and Jin are easily like the best romance of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You could debate, Sun and Jin versus Desmond and Penny, but Sun and Jin have more screen time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which feels, I'm just gonna say it.
racist.
It's racist.
It's
It just
racist.
feels racist. Like, come on, man. Like, we
Stop
can't. Like,
focusing
I
on
get
Jack and Kate.
it was a different time, Sam. It was a different era. I don't give a crap. All right, sure. Penny and Desmond are great, and they are endgame. But come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, it is palpable what Sun and Jim have, and it just feels bad. Also, feels weird that they fully did not even give Sun and Michael the sort of like romance that they were kind of hinting at.
They were kind of hinting at it for a little
They
bit,
were
right?
they were heavily hinting at that at season
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and I feel like they just got cold feet and they were like, no, I don't think we should touch on that. I don't think we should do this. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, fine, you know, sure, I'll take it because we ended up getting like the romance that is Sun and Jin,
Yeah.
but we've got so much. We got so much white meat in this show.
It's true. It's true.
This. When does this premiere? Before Thanksgiving? After
The day
Thanksgiving?
before
Day
Thanksgiving.
before Thanksgiving. Here's your turkey talk. white meat sucks.
It does, man.
White meat on the turkey is just it's god awful. I don't care how much you I don't care how much you baste it. I don't care what seasonings you put on it. I don't care how much gravy you slather it in. It
Yeah.
sucks. End of
You know my
story.
feelings on turkey, and I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just like, no, like it's like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I feel like with Lost. We've got so much white meat. We got so much just white romance on this show. And it's like, sure, fine. That's the
Yeah.
time. That's the era. That's ABC. You know,
Yeah.
we definitely have an audience to cater towards.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to fully realize Saeed and Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like look how afraid we are that we can't even do that. So
That's true.
we
That's a good point.
we can't even let Saeed be happy with the woman he loved with Nadia.
Yeah.
We don't even get to see that. And it's like, nope, it's all talked about and it's all flashback or it's
Yeah.
all brief, interludes before she gets run over by a truck. And you're just like, this sucks. I would rather have Sun and Jin just have the Rose and Bernard role. Be like, hey, we're cool. We're just here chilling in our little shack that we built,
Yeah.
chilling for 3 years. Like, we don't want any of your bullshit. Like, no, no, no. Like, go off via con Dios. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're gonna stay here and die.
Do you think you could do that?
What?
Just go off like on the show, like you and Kat, you think y'all could just go off and live in the little cabin for 3 years and like just be content?
I at a certain point, I think it would just have to be like, you know what? Yeah, this is a no.
Tired of people trying to kill us.
I think once the time hopping thing started, I'd be like, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm done. We're
Yeah.
building a shack. Where do you want your dream home? Where do you want your view?
Yeah.
What's the view that you want to wake up to for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And I'll build you the shack because yeah, no, like I'm not putting up with this. I'm not doing this. Like everybody thinks we died in the plane crash. Let them think we died in the plane crash.
Yeah.
Like we get to live our lives, jokingly tax free. We don't have to pay for anything anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
But also just like we just get to live now. We just get to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And hopefully no crazy Dharma people and smoke monsters or Jack and freaking Kate get to, show up again telling us, hey, we gotta save the world. Be like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I rebuke that energy and
Oh man.
just go.
Yeah. I see. I'm in a much different position. I don't have a partner like that, so like I don't have someone else's like well-being and safety to worry about.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I could just sit there,
Mhm.
living life. Like I think I've like I gotta know what's happening. I gotta find a way off this island. Like I just
Mhm.
if I were to break and just say screw it, I don't know. Like maybe I don't think I would go as hard as Sawyer, where he's just drinking himself to death in the little house. But
Mhm.
like I don't know, maybe I would just set up camp in a house till I can figure something out.
Yeah.
If I truly, truly broke and I was like, no, this is it, I wouldn't necessarily have like a death wish, but I think I would go exploring. I'm like, I'm going in, man. I'm going in. I'm finding, what's out there. I would probably go team up with the others. Like, it depends where we are at the story. Not if Ben is in charge, but if I could find Richard, be like, man, I got nowhere to go. I just,
Mhm.
this is a crazy magical island. Like, everything's trying to kill me. I need a group. So,
Yeah.
yeah, who they might try and kill me. I don't know. But I'm also not Faraday who's going to walk into camp with a gun pulled,
Yeah.
start threatening people.
Listeners, tell us what you would do. Would you just accept death? Would you just build a cabin or go chill with the others? Or would you try and find a way off the island?
Yeah. See, so like if I was time hopping, I would definitely go with Sawyer into the others just because, like, man, they got toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're in
Yeah,
that
that's true.
situation, it's like the little things, and you're like, okay, All right.
Mhm.
So toilet paper, maybe air. I don't know. Do they have air conditioning?
I imagine so. I feel like they would have to. We never
Right?
see it, but you know,
Yeah, they would have to. I don't know.
it's central.
Yeah,
Central heating, yeah. We just never
yeah,
see the thermostats.
true. So yeah. The only other thing is that Claire's straight up gonna kill Kate because she took Aaron and is raising him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see what happens for that. Um, so yeah, literally my only note this episode was Jack's a dad? Okay, so MVPs.
You know what? I'll give it to Matthew Fox.
Yeah, me too. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because of the, off island stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Mostly because of the off-island stuff. I do love his like reactions to things
Yeah.
and how like he's not one of these actors that that gets how do we say this? Uh he's not an actor who like hams it up.
Right.
I feel like Hugh Jackman kind of has like a hammy sort of quality to him.
It's kind of
It's
the
very
performer, the character,
yeah, yeah.
the what's the word? Like almost like a character actor in him,
It's
you
very
know?
theatrical. You know,
Yeah.
he very much likes to give, you know, some sort of theatrical performance, even in, you know, realistic or smaller roles. Whereas I feel like Matthew Fox just has like I don't know what it is, but the three moments where he had like these specific reactions where I was like, that feels this feels real. This is genuine.
Yeah.
Is when Hurley tells him that Jacob said, "You have what it takes,"
Hmm.
and he fully like double takes Hurley, stands up, walks in front of Hurley, and says, "What did you just say?"
Yeah.
Like he looks pissed.
Yeah.
Like he looks pissed. He looks scared. He's confused. It's like he doesn't know what's happening. But that one phrase sets him off, and he's just like, "Okay, let's go. Let's go. Like we're gonna figure this out right now." Um, the second and the third are both in the flashback, and we kind of talked about the third, but this when Haruyuki Sanada is also at
Yeah.
the recital that David's at because his kid just played, and they just have him and Jack just have this really nice moment about you know children and just how much pressure they're on, and
Yeah.
it's so undue because it's like that's something that we can't help them with. We can't take that from them, you
Yeah.
know. Uh and he just straight up just asked Jack like, "How long has your son been playing?" And Jack just like it's like for me the heartbreaking moment is him looking up and then just straight up having to admit to a total stranger that he's not a good dad.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
absolutely no idea how long his son has been doing this.
Hmm.
And like there's nothing to say to that. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing anybody can say and like he just leaves. I'm like that sucks. And Matthew
Yeah.
Fox plays it so well and so realistic. Like again like you know sure, you know we like we kind of make fun to say that oh this is us season of Lost,
Yeah.
but it's but there's still some like there's still some like truth in that. It's like giving genuine performance, you know, it's like it's not a soap opera. You know, like this feels genuine. This is coming from like I don't know where it's coming from, but it feels real. And then of course at the end when, you know, David tells him that I didn't want you to see me fail. Like I didn't
Yeah.
want you to think I was a failure. And again, Jack just looks up, and it's like everything just comes crashing down on him. It's like we don't need to see a montage of all the things that it's
Yeah.
reminding it of. Like
Yeah.
he says it all in his face and performance. Like he looks up, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm my dad."
Yeah.
Like in that moment, he just realizes that he's his dad and has to pivot, has to go the other way and just be like, I never want you to think that you're a failure or
Yeah.
that that matters to me. I'll always love you. I'm like,
And
dude,
again, like
yes.
what you said, we don't have to see that flashback. Like last week, when they're talking about Jacob and we
Mm-hmm.
see the flashback of him talking to everyone. Like, we've seen this already.
Yeah.
It almost seems like this was more mature writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are writers, it's the showrunners, of course. These are the writers who know what they're doing. These are the writers who know how to tell their story. Not them too, not Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof's story. They know how to tell the Lost story, the story of Lost,
Yeah.
you know? And Matthew Fox delivered on that. And I'm like, I love this. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, and it's also because when he's talking to Hiroyuki Sanada, we don't know the specifics.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking like, oh man, Jack didn't know that his kid played, you know? But then in the next scene, we find out, oh, his kid has always played. That was the issue. And he even says, he's like, it was, you were so into it. I didn't want to let you down. So it's not so much of like, the question is, how long has he been playing? And I'm thinking like, oh, he doesn't know because he's not in his life. And the reality is like, no, he's been playing his whole life because he was there for that, but then he was gone in the middle, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
he tells him, he's like, I didn't know you still played. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good, dude. Matthew Fox, very underrated actor. I wish he got more opportunities. Um, I
It's so
love,
strange that like if it feels like out of this show, nobody really went like big, you know?
yeah, I'd say Evangeline Lilly probably had the most success. Um,
Yeah. I know Josh
especially,
Holloway
especially
had like
Marvel.
yeah, Josh Holloway was on like was headlining like a TNT show for like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, he's been working.
Hmm.
But yeah, like Jack, he's done Matthew Fox. He's done stuff here and there. You know, um, no spoilers, but I liked him a lot in Bone Tomahawk. Not a likable character,
Oh,
but
dang,
I
yeah.
thought he did really good.
Yeah.
And then his final scene. I won't tell you what that is, but man, man, you
Yeah.
know what? I'm spoilers for Bone Tomahawk. Skip ahead like 30 seconds. When he's there, he's waiting to die, and he has the gun cocked. And at the very end, you kind of hear a little tremble in his voice. That
Hmm.
it's just like, and then that's when the thing blows up. Reminded me of Frank Grillo's death in The Gray, which we talked about a week or two ago. You just
Yeah,
hear the little
yeah.
tremble in his voice. All right, spoilers are over. Um, yeah, man. Uh,
Hey, this
oh,
Thanksgiving,
and Matthew Fox is
if you're
in.
looking for a family movie to watch with everybody after Turkey Day, go watch Bone
Oh
Tomahawk.
God, that jeez. Matthew Fox was what's his name? Racer X?
Yeah, and Speed Racer.
Speed Racer, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Speed
Hmm.
Racer was wild.
I still have not seen it.
Dude, it's nuts. You want to watch something with your family for Thanksgiving? Go watch Speed Racer,
Go
the
on,
movie.
please go watch Speed. Do not watch Bone Tomahawk with your
It's
family.
yeah,
Go watch Speed Racer.
it's so like the Wachowskis were hot off the Matrix and they could do whatever they wanted. So they did Speed Racer.
Yeah.
And like this was after the trilogy, right? After all
Yes.
three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's to me it's I don't love it as much as Scott Pilgrim, but it reminds me of something like that. Like just visually, it's so out there. The way Scott Pilgrim mixed like animation and the comic with live action, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you have movies like Spider Verse or shows like Arcane, which is just so crazy. Speed Racer was wild. Like I feel like that movie does can only be done justice at IMAX. I'm not even a Speed Racer fan,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, I love this movie. This is wild. So yeah, yeah. It feels like the closest we're ever gonna get to a live action Pixar film, just visually,
Ooh.
you
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, man, awesome episode. Definitely not the best, but I loved it, and I think as much as they're not giving us in this final season, they're giving us something else, you know, and it's kind of it's so weird because we've always talked about Lost as a character. It's all about the characters, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so weird that they're finally deliver not finally, but like they're this last season is really delivering on these alternate characters where our main
Yeah.
characters are still kind of just doing the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
I was super excited to do this podcast, of course, and to rewatch Lost for first time in who knows how long. And you know, and the whole thing was like, I wonder how I'm gonna feel about the ending. And like around season 5, I was like, I'm getting kind of nervous. How am I gonna feel about the ending of the show?
Dude, I legitimately do feel nervous.
I feel not so nervous now. Like I was feeling it in season 5, but like loving what I love so far about like the sideways timeline.
Hmm.
Uh like to me that justifies this episode for me. Again,
Hmm.
like I said, it's not my favorite, but like I'm glad I watched it. You know, it kind of grounded it. And same thing with the lock one. I think last week's was a better episode, but still the stuff I cared about the most was in the alternate timeline.
Hmm.
And so to me, that's kind of grounding me. And I'm like, I think I'm going to enjoy this ending, you know, in the last however many episodes we have. So it's still quite a bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know how I feel in January, possibly
Hopefully.
February. I don't know where it's going to end.
Oh, jeez.
So I think it's
Just
16 episodes.
it's
So
just never gonna end.
it's never going to end, dude.
Next Christmas, we'll finally be getting to the last episode.
Yeah, so we're gonna stop for the holidays and then we're gonna rewatch Dark, all of it, and then we'll finish the last 10 episodes.
Wow, jeez.
Oh man. Yeah. So listeners, let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know how you're feeling about the final season of Lost.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hit us up on social media, hashtag Lost Legacies. I'm on Instagram and Threads at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, and on what's the other one? Blue
Blue
Sky
Sky.
at Matthew Jimenez.
And you can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads at Real. That's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
That's right. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Eat as much as
Mm-hmm.
you want.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to punch your racist uncle. You have our
Yes.
permission.
Twice, if need
Yeah.
be.
Um, kick him in the nuts while he's, you know, full of
Gravy
gravy
and white meat.
and white meat. Oh no, what's the like the gelatin stuff? It's not gelatin, but
Uh,
uh,
Cranberry sauce?
cranberry sauce. Yeah, while his mouth is full of cranberry sauce, just take a, a you know, a piece of white meat, just slap it in some gravy. Oh
And then slap him?
yeah, I don't know how I was gonna. I was gonna say kick him in the balls, and then I guess you could slap him with the white meat. I don't know, just white meat slapping each other like dead fish.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's
This
I
very,
love that
this
whole.
very biting critique and commentary really just turned slapstick like really, really fast.
I love that whole conversation we had. And you were comparing all these white romances with white meat chicken, and the whole time I'm thinking like, Sam does know that white girls are my weakness, right?
Hey, look, as somebody married to a white girl, like I understand. I understand the nuances and I understand
Yeah,
the complexities of this, okay? It's like, hey, I understand completely.
yeah,
I'm just looking to diversify
yeah.
my
Man. It's
media
tough out there.
palette.
It's tough
You
out
know?
there.
Yeah.
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 You know, I don't like white meat, but I do enjoy the white meat turkey, like leftovers. You want to just make a little
Yeah.
sandwich of that?
Hmm.
I enjoy Thanksgiving leftovers a lot more than the Thanksgiving meal. So
That's true.
that's
Yeah.
me. Um, yeah, everyone, let us know what you ate, and we'll be back next week to talk about Lost season 6, episode 6. What is it called? Sundown, in which evil Locke and evil Claire enact their plans.
Evilly.
evilly. Until then,
Get lost. Gobble gobble.